Hello and welcome to the Work for Change podcast. It's ya boy, Jean.
And
spelled like Jean. Jeez, I am the worst at that.
I wasn't sure if you were going to do it.
No, I just forgot.
Sometimes you do.
It's been a while.
You change it up. It's been a week.
No, but
We're
like,
actually on time
it's been a
this time.
while since I've like
Been
been
consistent.
saying that name
Yeah.
that way.
How do you introduce yourself normally? Not like
Normally I
Jean?
go with your co-host, John.
Oh,
you know,
that's
but
normal. Is that normally how you introduce yourself?
And
to
we're
people?
waiting.
Yeah. But I've
normally how you
forgotten
introduce
about the ja boy, Jean, spelled like Jean. Like, it's a whole process.
Yeah. Well, and it's ya boy, John with the silent H with...
Ya girl, Sam.
It's not ja girl? What's going on here?
No, it's just ya girl.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
You're the
Yeah.
weird one.
I know.
You're the weird one.
You're the one with, with the weird...
My own wife.
You're the one with the weird freaking name.
I know, that's true.
But welcome to episode 112 of the Work for Change podcast. Thank you guys so much for being here.
Yep, we are located inside our garage.
We are.
Gym.
Welcome.
With Bailey with us as well.
Bailey Glaude. We've got a barbell behind us if you're watching.
right.
It is currently set to my 1 rep max back squat. So hopefully
There's
get
no
this.
weight on the bar is what he's saying.
Yeah. No. Okay. Well, we're glad you're here, and we got a fun episode for you.
Yep.
The first thing I want to do is I want to talk about a quote that I heard. Okay.
Oh, gosh.
And then we'll go from there, and we got some other stuff we want to talk about. We're going to talk about Matt Fraser. We're going to talk about triathlons. We're going to talk about pregnancies.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Ruin the whole thing.
No, I
There's
mean
no
now people
secrets.
know what they're getting into.
Well, now everyone's going to click
And the
off of it.
secret coming up.
Yeah, and the secret coming up
You'll never believe what happens
Yeah.
on the next episode.
of Work for Change Bond. Bailey's licking my hand for whatever reason.
Is it still on my? Nope. All right, got to go to my archive. It's this quote I found
She's gone now.
that I really enjoy, and I actually don't know how to get to my archive. Your activity, right? Is that what it is? And then you go to nope. All right, talk amongst yourselves, guys, and I'll figure this out.
So,
Well, tell me about your week, Sam.
you know,
How far along are you now?
I had a doctor's appointment today,
You did.
and I love the doctors. I love the
That is
doctors
so
so,
weird. I
much.
hate
I have
doctors.
4 doctor's appointments this week, and I've been waiting for this week.
Why? Why have you been waiting for this week?
So I get so many appointments, and it makes me so excited.
Yeah, we got to see baby today.
Yeah.
Well, Sam did.
Yeah.
You guys did the.
I'm not allowed to go because of COVID.
You guys did the ultrasound, right? Do you get
Yeah.
ultrasound every time you go to the pregnancy doctor place?
No, but I actually sent like the ultrasound picture to my uncle, and he called me. He's like, "Why do you get so many ultrasounds? Is the baby okay?" But
like,
it's only
"Ah."
because I'm high risk because of my type 1 diabetes. So I just have so many. I think this is like the 12th one.
Yeah, we've had a lot.
And like my coworker just had her baby a few months ago. Shout out. I think she had 2 ultrasounds.
Oh, this isn't 2 babies. And I was like, wow, it's
Well,
called
it is
twins.
it is her second baby, but
It's called twins, actually.
yeah. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
good. Okay, so
Could
here's the
you
quote.
imagine, like, back in the day, right, before there was ultrasounds, and, like, being like, oh, I'm pregnant, and then being like, wait, there's 3. That
Well-
would be crazy.
even because my brother is
Imagine popping out 3 little nuggets out
I
of your
know.
hoo-ha.
well, my brother's 11 years older than me, and my mom said that she didn't have any ultrasounds when she was pregnant with him. Like it's a newer
Really?
thing. I think she had 1,
Yeah,
but she didn't have like
like,
any
yeah, that blows my mind. I can't imagine
because it was just a newer thing back then.
like not having an ultrasound, not knowing the sex of your baby, which is so like we know now. People reveal it, people look, people do all that stuff. But
Yeah,
like
they burned down the
back-
city.
But back in the day, it was like you know, it's like China. It's like you're pregnant, you know, and you're like, all right, I hope I have a son to carry on my lane.
Yeah, well, you
Oh,
probably,
I was
And
so
then-
confused. I was
no,
like,
no.
China, what are you talking about?
No, and then it's like, oh, a girl. Get rid of it. Let's try again. Oh
my God.
too soon.
China, that was China. I'm not just making things up.
I mean,
I
I'm,
know,
I'm
I
sure that
know.
was more than just China. I'm sure that was
I
more.
am
yeah,
thankful
yeah,
that
yeah.
I get to go all
I
the
think
time.
they're the most
but-
recent, like, we don't do that anymore
Yeah.
in world history. World
Yeah.
history, what a fun subject.
I've actually been, for some reason, you guys know how I go on my like tangents and start watching like random channels. Right now I'm on a history. I'm just like watching history. Like I was like really interested in the Civil War and I was watching a lot of Civil War stuff. And then now I'm like watching channels that Dude, so history was my favorite subject in school.
It was my least favorite.
It was my favorite because it made sense. It was like, this is what happened. Now learning that necessarily what you learn in history isn't actually true, especially at least in America. But it's like, this is what happened. Remember this, and that's what.
Keep your political agenda.
I'm not even doing. I'm just saying. It's like what you learn is not necessarily. There's like a term, historiography. So it's the
America is the greatest.
It's the way that history
nation.
is told and like written down. Like that's part of history, right? So
America was number one right away, and has held it this entire time.
We're doing number one right now, definitely, and not in a good way, but. So I've been like watching that, and like I've been watching channels that literally just like they go over movies that are like historical movies, and then they talk about like, oh, this is accurate, this is inaccurate. I don't know why. I don't know. I don't get it. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, I know. I've noticed that my because you use my YouTube account in the garage when you're watching TV in the garage, and I've noticed that my recommended videos have been.
It hasn't been that. I haven't been doing it that much in here. In here, I've been watching a lot of Iron Man stuff.
Which doesn't change my...
Yeah, because you've actually watched a lot of them, which is surprising. Like, I'll see, like, I'm like, how does this... I haven't watched this yet. Were you trying to get into Iron Man for a while or something?
No. But, like, for some reason, Iron Man or marathon runners have, like, the most, like, high-quality content on YouTube. Like, people make movies about them.
Yeah.
So you can watch, like, an hour video and just, like, kind of zone out. Not a lot of other sports have, like, that... at such high quality.
The Iron Man, it seems like every Iron Man, I mean, from what I've seen with a lot of the videos I'm watching, it seems like Iron Man hires people to like make videos. And so they usually will make like you can almost go to any Iron Man event and there'll be a video about it. And they'll from what I've seen, they'll cover like the top men, top women, pros, but then they'll also cover like the really inspirational stories of like the age group is what they call it, age group qualifiers. And always, dude, I have watched every single, you came in when I was crying at one of them. Every single Iron Man video I've watched, I've cried. There was one guy that was a double above the knee amputee. First person to ever finish an Iron Man with a double knee amputee.
It doesn't say too much because you cry a lot.
Yeah, but still, like it was, and there was this one guy, oh my God, I couldn't believe this. There was this one guy that he was married. His wife ended up getting cancer. She beat the cancer, right? And then they were together for 9 years. Everything was good. They had 2 kids. She ended up getting cancer again, passed away. 5 months later, one of his kids passed away as well. Why
would you tell us that?
I'm sorry, but I'm just like, dude, those are the stories they tell us. We're just like, oh, dude, I highly recommend you guys, if you're listening to this, just type in like 2019 Iron Man Championship and you'll watch it. They're from like Subaru for some reason is one of their sponsors, and Vega. And oh man. Sorry, I know that was a tangent, but that's how my life is, really.
Yeah, full of tangents.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So speaking of relearning history and learning accuracies or inaccuracies or historiography or historicity or all that stuff, here's a quote that I heard while I was watching a YouTube video that was titled "How to Learn Anything." And it was basically like how to teach yourself anything, how to learn any skill, how to whatever. And it was talking about the process of learning. It was a very clickbait title, but they even claimed it, right?
I've been there.
Yeah. And there was this quote that said, "The illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn." And it's from Alvin Toffler. So
Toffler sounds like toffee.
One more time, the illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. So when you like learn something, right? For example, that could be, well, off the top of your head, like what does that say to you guys? What do you think of? What do you feel? Like what's going on with that? The illiterate will not be those who can't read and write, but those who can't learn, unlearn, and relearn.
I feel like I'm in a Bible study. Hey, that's exactly what.
Same principles, but without the Bible.
You can't teach an old dog new
I know. There's one thing I know very well.
Jean
leading a small group.
True.
You can't lead a Jean away from Chipotle. Is basically what this means.
Yeah.
So the thing that pops into my head is like we a lot of times we have these thoughts that we feel are almost like integral to who we are and like what we think the world is. And a lot of times those thoughts might get challenged, and a lot of people will not even hear or think about any argument against what they believe, and they will just shut it off and be like, you're wrong, because that's not what I've learned. That's not what I've seen, And so that's the thing. I mean, I don't want to get into politics, but like that's the first thing that comes to my mind is like changing your views on stuff like that. Like,
so you immediately jump to politics.
yeah, that's where that's where my mind goes. Yeah.
What about you?
My mind does not go to politics.
That's the importance of discussion.
Thank you, group leader. I just think like our parents' generation, like they're so set in their ways, and I feel like
Politically?
no, just in any.
See, he does too. See,
No.
it's not just me.
I didn't go to politics actually. I'll discuss what I thought. Yeah.
This is my first impression. But I am hopeful for our generation that we don't sit in our ways. Like we can grow, we can change, we can anything. If you want to go politics, you can change, any little thing, that's why I'm like, I'm hopeful for our generation. Then I get discouraged sometimes, but that's another thing.
Okay, I guess I'll answer mine and then I'll ask another question. So for me, the first thing I thought of was actually about like religious beliefs.
I mean, that's kind of mashed into what I was saying, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. You're a real delight at a dinner party. You just want to bring up
No, I don't. But I'm just saying that's what I think because I saw that you also wrote more stuff on it.
Yeah, I did.
And I knew what you were talking about, or at least I think I did. Mm-hmm. And so that's why it went there. So don't freaking make me seem like I'm some freaking terrible person because you wrote more on it, okay? There was more context.
And if you're watching on YouTube, that's why I sit in the middle.
Yeah. So when we take swings at each other, we don't make it. So the first thing I thought of was actually just more like religious belief. And not even like, so yes, as extreme as I used to believe in Jesus and now I don't, right? But even
well, now we know.
Yeah.
It's good to know, John.
But like even stuff as like I used to believe this about this specific book, and now with more context, I've learned that that's probably not the truth on that.
Like Jonah and the fish and stuff, like thinking, did that really happen, or was that more of a story that was told?
Yeah, and like, is it any less true? Like I was taught in a 6-day literal creation, right? Mm-hmm. And is it any less true to me and my faith if I just go, no, I don't think I believe that with the way everything else kind of looks, like using science and using this, like, I don't know if I believe in a 6-day literal. Does that change anything? Or in the very beginning, this poem about creation, is that what it was? A story, to talk about the fact that like less here's exactly how it happened and more along the lines of like, hey, just so you know, like there's order and there's reason behind everything that we see. Mm-hmm. And it was all given by God, like instead of focusing on, no, it says that the fish came and then on this day and then this, it's like, what if it's like, hey, that was put there on purpose. And so you can believe that you were placed here on purpose as well. Like these don't have to be like at face value. This is what it is.
I think like what's hard for people is that, by
the way, a lot of people are going to be, I don't know about a lot of people, but people will be angry for what I said.
Yeah. And you should move your phone not close to that.
Oh yeah.
I like the thing that, yeah. And I'll also this one, there's too many phones in here. But I think like it's one of the things it's hard for people to like say I'm going to make a change or whatever, because I think for a lot of people, it means that they have to maybe admit, even if it's just to themselves, that maybe they were wrong about a certain thing. And like that, I think that's what the problem is that maybe instead of thinking of it as like I was wrong, it could be like, well, I was just not informed, or I didn't have like the worldview that I do now, or I've been someone has shared information with me that makes more sense. Like I know that, for me, like I obviously shared that whole video about how I've like changed my political views or whatever, and we don't have to go into exactly why or whatever, but like, or what has changed, but if you want, you can watch the video, right? But like, I think for me, what happened was I watched I watched content and like had on a lot of it was actual conversations I had with people like in person, not really in person, but like on, FaceTime or Instagram Live, actually, some of them, that challenged how I thought and made me uncomfortable, but then I was able to reflect on it. It's not like I was like, I think this. Oh, you know what? We had this conversation and now I don't think that. It was a few days later or whatever it might have been that I was able to think through it. And then I don't even think, it's not like I ever had a light bulb moment. I was like, I've changed my mind. It's just slowly I looked back and I was like, wow, I remember thinking these things and I definitely don't think that anymore.
But I also think like if you thought one thing, say you do have something that challenge your thought process and you go, oh, well, now I think the opposite. You're still growing as a person. You're still learning, like that might even change again. It's always going to be changing. It's always going to be altering,
And so it's like giving yourself grace and being not beating yourself up if you're like, I can't believe I believe that. It's just like, okay, you did and now you don't.
Yeah. What feelings come up when you think about like, okay, unlearning something and relearning it? Like, what feelings do you feel regarding those sentiments and those statements?
For me, I have anxiety is what comes up because it's just like when you talk about learning and like, you know what I mean? Like for me, learning has always been associated with not great things. So that's what comes to my mind. It's just like, which isn't necessarily correct because I think learning is so much more than just sitting and watching or reading and finding things out. It can be like a life experience that you learn and you don't even realize. Like that, I think that's what I was trying to explain. It's like I didn't realize I was learning, quote unquote, right? But I was. But when you ask that question, the first thing is like anxiety about school, basically.
Yeah.
Will you repeat the question?
Do you have any?
Oh my God.
With that sentence,
so in deep conversation, she's over here thinking about like, what's for dinner, man?
No, we already know what's for dinner.
Chipotle?
No. Beef stroganoff.
Oh, beef stroganoff for the bales.
Okay, so what feelings come to you when you hear a thing like learn, unlearn, relearn?
I don't have any feelings associated.
Okay, that's fine.
That's my final answer.
For
we
me,
need to get rid of this co-host. It's horrible.
For me, can we bring Bailey on? I know. She's just being so cute.
She just tagged you out. She said you're out.
She's like, hey, I want to get out of this garage. Actually,
she said you let me go. You can't go out there because you bark at everyone.
Bark at everyone who walks by, girl.
And then everyone's get scared of you because you're such a big old dog and you're like scary. Not.
For me, like I think it's fear. Like I have been in the past. I've been someone who was so dogmatic, and like I knew what I believed, and like I knew why I believed it. And so the idea of unlearning something seems false to my character because I've treated what I believe as the core of who I am, right? So therefore, if I have to unlearn something and relearn something else, I am now transforming into a different person that isn't true to who I am.
I think that's why I don't have strong feelings like you guys, because I've never believed something so much and had it changed or altered or questioned. Like, obviously,
You've never changed your mind.
I have, but it hasn't been anything where it's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I changed my mind about this. It's like little things. You're like, oh, that was kind of embarrassing. Or like, I can't believe I thought that before. Or, like if I knew now what I knew then, but nothing like that questioned who I was.
Yeah. I've definitely have had that.
Yeah.
I've had it a few times, actually.
I would say I've had that as well.
Yeah, so I'm like, I don't know.
Now
Now am I boring now?
I feel like you've changed quite a bit.
I've definitely changed quite a bit.
When we, she's very loud.
You're getting loud over here.
I'm getting passionate over here, you guys.
Yeah, there you go. That's much better. When you guys first started dating, I did not like you.
I know.
Like I was not like, but we've got like you are not the same person as you were then though.
But I feel like inside I'm still the same person. I just am not the same person. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, it's not like it makes it sound like I was like. It's not like I was like I cannot stand being around Sam. It was just
and I'm lovely.
I just remember like me and John would have conversations, and then like he would confide in me about things, and I'd be like. Because I'm the bro, I'm like, man, screw this girl, screw her. Like, if she doesn't value you, and I just remember, like,
I did string my husband along for a little.
Yeah, and so I just remember thinking, like, I don't know.
sorry.
The Lord told me
And-
we were going to get married, so
and-
I had to stay
Oh
with.
my
I'm just kidding.
God, please no.
At Bible college.
I just remember like it was just really strange to me, like how much John had invested in you, and it felt like you were just like, oh, this is this guy. Like that's how it felt, and I remember thinking like,
Why?
I think because I don't know, I'm not trying to get too deep on it, but like John had like a string of not the best relationships, people kind of treating him not the best, and so for me, that's none of your business. Like you don't know. And so for me, I was like, bro, I don't want you to go through this again. You know what I mean? And so I just remember like not liking you, but I think you've changed quite a bit from then.
Oh yeah,
Like,
I'm totally different.
I think like
but nothing that I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm just like, that was crazy back then, huh?
yeah.
So I don't think that's why I have emotions. Like, obviously, sometimes I was telling John because I wake up in the middle of the night and can't fall asleep, which
Dude, that was me today. I woke up at 3 a.m. I could not fall back asleep until like 6. It was so annoying.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I was up and I saw that you posted something, and I'm like, what's this guy doing?
I posted something
Oh, really?
on YouTube. I just posted like a
Picture
little
of Bailey.
yeah.
oh, you were talking about that, and I was like,
Yeah.
you can post stuff on YouTube. Anyway,
Yeah.
it's a pregnancy symptom.
Okay. Oh, so you're saying I'm pregnant?
Yes. There's something they told you there's gonna be a secret in it. Anyway, I'm someone who literally like will put her head on the pillow and I am out. Okay. So now I had to wake up to pee a million times and then I can't go back to sleep. So anyway, I was telling John the other day, I was like, man, when I'm awake in the middle of the night, all I do is think about like all the dumb things I've done in the past. And I'm just like, why did I do that?
So she's up for hours.
Yeah, I'm up for hours.
And then what is she? Does she confide in you? Like I have to let you know 7 years ago.
No, she's already done all that.
Yeah, I've done that. But anyway, so that's what I think about that time when me and John were dating and stuff because I was crazy.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, oh, that was dumb. But I don't know. I don't have any emotions tied to it. I'm just like, oh, I was growing up.
Yeah, I definitely like. I feel like I said before, feelings of just
I know it's
dishonesty,
fun. I'm just kidding.
dishonesty or whatever. But like, what's so interesting, like, and I think this just like this is a common thing. Like a lot of the times,
This is a great fitness podcast that we have here.
it ties. Don't worry.
But you know,
I'm
health
just
is
kidding.
more
I'm
than
just kidding.
your-
I'm joking.
So
Okay.
like a lot of the times, our opinion on something is the first thing we heard.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, how many times have you read something and been like, "Oh, wow," and then like 2 days later, you read an opposite opinion, and you go, "That's
Yeah.
stupid." And it's like you have just so quickly clung to. No, yeah, that makes sense. Like, that's my first
Or you
explanation.
could even say it's the most recent thing we heard it as well. Because some people are just like, oh, okay. And they just believe everything you hear. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Oh, that last thing I read must have been wrong without ever doing any research. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like people do that as well.
Yeah, I think like unlearning is the idea of being like, I believed this once. I am no longer going to allow this to be the way I view things. Right? And it may take a long time.
Oh yeah, it certainly will. If it's something that's like integral
core
to
value?
who you are,
Yeah.
it's absolutely is going to take a long time, and to expect it to not is not a good idea for your mental
Yeah.
health. I don't
Even
think.
if like you have an addiction to something,
Yeah,
it could be
exactly.
the smallest addiction, or it can be like something
Yeah.
serious. You know, to unlearn how you deal with something. If
Well,
you
it's
want to
like-
be unaddicted to whatever that thing
So
is.
let's tie this into like health and fitness. So like this is a question I get a lot is like, okay, I'm trying to lose weight. When am I going to stop craving XYZ thing, right? McDonald's or whatever. And I tell people like at first it's going to be hard. Like you're sorry, Bailey, just at first it's going to be hard. You're going to continuously think about this thing. But eventually, like for me, I am never, have I ever been like, man, you guys, I really want to get some McDonald's fries right now.
Yes.
I knew you guys.
Earlier,
But like seriously,
you were chowing down before the podcast.
But like, is that ever something that I'm like, hey, let's do this?
No.
no.
You know
but
what I mean?
they do have the best French fries.
They
I
do,
probably haven't
yeah.
had them in like 8 years.
They
though.
do, yeah. I don't care what anyone says. McDonald's has the best French fries, but well, Rally's has really good fries too. But those aren't. It's not. But it's not comparable. But they're always really hot though for some reason. I don't know why. They always burn my mouth. But whenever I think about it, I can feel that like sensation on my
yeah, I
tongue,
get
like
that
you burn it. But like so. I just tell people it's one of those things that it takes time. Like you can't expect. So like we're talking about, obviously if you're an addict, it's like just slowly wean off. Like I mean, maybe if it's like like heroin or something like that, you need to do that. But like if you're like gonna stop smoking weed or whatever, like, or drinking, it's like for a good amount of people, you just cut it out, and it's not like I'm gonna keep doing it every once in a while, right?
Yeah.
But it's like that thought of, oh, I want this thing. Like eventually, at least for me, as far as like food addict kind of stuff that we're talking about, I don't have that anymore. But it's taken a lot of time. You can't just expect to be like, because I've made this decision, I now like all of these thoughts that I had before will be gone, because it's just not realistic. But eventually, I do think you can get to a point where you truly have adopted this new thought process, whatever we're when we're talking about a lot of stuff, but like this new thing, I've fully adopted it, and it is part of who I am. But I know you hate the whole fake it till you make it thing, but like at some point when you first start, you're going to have to kind of play around with that. Be like, I know I want this thing, but I'm going to not allow myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember when I was on bikini prep, and it was like a couple weeks in. I was doing really good, and I was so sad one day. And I was like, I just want some ice cream, because ice cream always makes you feel better. And I was like, I can't eat ice cream. And then I'm like, is that what I always do when I'm sad? It's like, that's my first thing I go to. So now it's been
The answer is
years.
yes.
Yes, it is true. But like years now later, I'm like, I'm really sad. I need some ice cream. I still do that, but I think it's like.
So again, I haven't changed anything.
I haven't changed. But now I feel like I can handle things better than I did in the past. So it's like when I'm sad and I want some ice cream, it's not as often,
And you're just getting late or something.
That explains why all my ice cream's gone.
Yeah.
No, you ate our ice cream last
I asked.
But
and it was in there for months.
It's just a funny
It was in there for like a month.
I want to tell a funny story. We bought in line. The best flavor is the chocolate chip cookie dough brownie.
Fact, yeah. That's fact.
Best in
Pretty
line.
darn good.
100%.
And I bought it, and I was like, oh, this sounds so good. And like, was in there for like a month and a half.
Yeah, and then so I asked them if I could have it, and I ate it.
Yeah, and he's like, can I have that? I'm like, how long have you been looking?
I've been ever since they brought it at the house.
He was in there
If I
for
ran
so
out,
long.
because I usually have, one every night or
But
something.
now I just like the Enlightened ice cream bars. Recommend. Anyway.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I mean, you wrapped it in. I was going to talk about like health and fitness and just
sorry.
the idea of like, no, it's good.
Well, I was going to
Stole your
sing
thunder.
one more thing. Too.
What?
I was also going to say like relearning and all that stuff about fitness and stuff too is like back in the day, I always wanted to be like, I want to be smaller. And then now, I'll say pre-pregnancy. Now I'm like, no, I want to get stronger. I want to be fitter. I want to be healthier, and it's like, that took a while for me to get to that mindset, And now I was even saying the other day how, like, because we got the cycling bike that we love so much. I know
That
you
was
guys
last
talked.
week's episode. So.
I know I didn't listen to it, but I know you guys are talking about it.
Rude.
But I feel like anytime I would do cardio, even like being in a healthier mindset, like with fitness and stuff, I'd be like, oh, I'm going for a walk, I'm burning some calories. Oh, I'm going for a run, I'm burning some calories. Oh, like any type of cardio. Because it's like, I don't love cardio, I'm like, oh, I'm burning some calories. Now with the cycling bike, I'm like, oh, I'm getting my heart rate up. I'm like, oh, the baby likes this.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, look, I'm adapting again, So now I feel like post-baby, I feel like it'll be like, oh, I'm being fit for my baby, So it's like, you just change what you're doing.
Yeah.
Are you at all like nervous or anything about that?
Nervous about what?
About like post-pregnancy and like all that whole
No,
situation?
I am literally so excited.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I know we've had this conversation, but like, I know that you're like, I feel bad. Like, you almost feel bad because of how easy the pregnancy has been for you.
Guys, I feel so bad.
It's been crazy. I mean, it's a good thing, especially because it is technically high risk. I mean, it doesn't seem like it's been, but
and it's not like I haven't had my struggles, obviously.
yeah,
or like,
how's the carpal tunnel? Is that pretty much gone now?
no,
No.
Oh, okay.
it's gotten pretty worse.
Okay, it's
Like-
gotten pretty worse.
I got the carpal, now I got heartburn.
Really?
And then, but yeah, so I was literally looking at pictures the other day, and I was like from last summer before I got pregnant, and I was like, I look good, you guys, So I'm like, that's another thing. Like, I remember thinking, I want to lose 10 pounds.
You were, you've always kind of, since I've known you, I feel like it's always been
And
like
so I'm
along
like,
these-
I'm great, So now I'm so excited just to like, I'm not even excited to like get back in shape. I'm excited to like just work out without like a ginormous belly in my way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm excited for that journey.
Little baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I'll share if you guys want me to share.
hashtag influencer life.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
I mean, this goes with so much. Like when we talk about fitness, like even this is a much smaller thing, but like changing what you do for fitness, right? Like it could be you really loved bodybuilding, and then you like I guess I'm telling my story, but then you find CrossFit, and then being like it's not like you have to be.
That.
So no. So like
Okay.
for that example,
you keep going.
For that example, like I remember being frustrated with when I first started CrossFit, being kind of frustrated with kettlebell swings. Because I couldn't figure out what part of the body like they were. Like, is this an upper body movement? Is this a lower body movement? Is this like a hamstring? Is hamstrings, right? Or is it? And it's like, no, it's like it's your entire body, and it elevates your heart rate. I was like, yeah, but like if I were like, would I say like, oh, that was kind of like a leg day, you know? Like
I
no,
still do that. Though.
It doesn't. I know, but it's like that doesn't apply. Like, so you learned a way, right? Upper body, push pull. Lower body, right? And then
pull legs.
Yeah, and then it's like you go to CrossFit where it's more focused on like time domain and like energy output versus body part. And then you have to like, okay, I have to unlearn to focus on these primary blah blah, and now let me relearn this. The same thing goes like with diet, right? You learn that like carbs are bad.
That's what I thought of too.
Yeah.
As an example.
You learn carbs are bad. You read it on a magazine. And then you realize, okay, I have to unlearn the fact that carbs are bad.
Yeah, that's a hard one for a lot of people.
And then you relearn that carbs are energy or carbs are whatever. There's like Gary V has his like fall in love with effing up.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and that's unlearning and relearning. It's the cheesy quote from Thomas Edison that says like, you know, he failed at 300 times. Like, how you failed 300 times at making a light bulb. He's like, I didn't fail. I learned 300 times how not to make a light bulb.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, it's the idea of like, all right, this is now a data point. I know that this trajectory is not where I want to be. Now I'm going to pivot, adjust, change, unlearn what I was doing, relearn this new method, go from there. You go, and then, oh, that didn't work. You unlearn, you relearn, and it's like a constant process. And that only happens when you fail, which is like something that I need to learn. Like, I know that what I like to do is I like to not put my whole heart into something, because if I fail, well, I didn't put my whole heart into it. I didn't really put that much into it. Whereas if I put everything I had into it and then failed, that's like, oh, I'm a failure.
Yeah.
But even then you go, okay, well, somewhere something went wrong. Let me think, adjust, unlearn the strategy that I had, and then relearn this new method. And to take like emotion out of it. And I'm an emotional person, so obviously it's way easier said than done. But I don't know. I think like just, and they're important like anchors, I guess, that you can put in your life. Where it's like, okay, I unlearn and relearn these things about fitness, but the anchor is that I will be fit. I will work out. I will this. I learn and relearn. If you want to talk about like,
well, it's almost like
not religion. Jeez, dear Lord, no. But like, let me take a much less controversial subject, like politics.
God. Well, I was gonna say, okay,
like you can say like my priority is that I want to care for people. I want to put people first. Like that can be your anchor. And then the way you learn, oh, maybe that's actually not the best thing. This is the best. Like those can change, but like an anchor is kind of like you find yourself like the tide flipping away. You go, oh, well, there's my beach towel.
Yeah.
That's where I need to get back to kind of thing.
Well, I think part of it has to do with like putting too much stock in like something that isn't super stable. So it's like putting 100% in, like, say fitness is like the rock, like the real solid foundation, putting that.
The Rock is fitness.
The Rock is fitness, but then, yeah.
Dwayne The Rock.
But but instead of putting it in just fitness, you put it in CrossFit. So it's like something that might be on top of the rock that will seem very stable, but it's actually like, maybe it's sand or something like that. Like it's still there, but it's not like if you were just to put it on fitness instead, and then because say if CrossFit you can't do it or something happens, you still are still built on like fitness. I can find something, right? Does that make sense? That was a little convoluted, but
no, it's good. I mean, like, and that's the thing, like, when you're choosing something, like, you have to figure out, you don't want to be too broad, you don't want to be too specific, right?
Yeah.
So too broad would be like moving. It's like, I mean, you can move from the couch to the refrigerator. You're not gonna get any more fit.
I'm offended.
Yeah. But you can be too specific, and you can say like underwater CrossFit.
That's how I used to be. Another thing that I've changed, but I don't have emotion tied to it. I feel like I would get super, super, super specific. And then if I failed, I'm like, it's all down the drain.
Yeah. So it's like finding that nice balance. Which is important.
You can't compare your journey to other people, because I feel like in the past I'd always be like, wow, they're like, look so good, and they're so fit, and they don't count macros, but I thought that was the only way. And then I would try to do it, and then I was like, oh, I failed, because I wasn't knowledgeable. Then I learned more, and now I'm like, I used to think it was dumb when people would be like, my body craves protein right now, and that's what I'm going to eat. And I'm like, what? But now it's like, oh, I can listen to my body and be like, I'm really tired. I need carbs right now or something. I can listen to my body, but it's like that took a long time.
Yeah. Well, it's like, and as cheesy as it is, like you can't compare your page 1 to someone's chapter 10. Like it's just not good.
Well, my page 1 actually is titled chapter 10, so it makes things really awkward.
All right, so there was big news in CrossFit. So. Drum roll. Yeah, I mean, no, this is not news anymore, but
I have retired from the CrossFit Games.
Yeah, we actually all three of us.
He's now a spin instructor.
Yeah. But,
which now I want to be, by the way.
Yeah, we know. Matt Fraser has officially, at least what he said is he has officially retired from
competition.
From competition. Yeah.
Not from CrossFit.
And guess who's the happiest person?
No,
Sammy.
Pat Bellner.
No,
Noah
Sammy.
Olsen.
Both Sammys, including me.
Oh. Oh yeah, why are you so happy about it?
Because now he can pay attention to Sammy. I think it needs to be her time to shine. She has been so good to him. Mm-hmm. And
Sammy is his fiance.
Yes.
Fiance.
And I think the CrossFit Games are boring. I just have to say it. I'm sorry, everyone. I feel like I'm just offending so many people.
Yeah, think about.
I like Matt Fraser. I really do like him.
When you say they're boring, what do you mean by that?
Matt's gonna win.
Okay, that's
Matt's gonna win. We know. Like I'm like, oh, so and so did a good job. Matt's gonna win. We know.
I don't know that when Noah Olsen took second, and he was wearing the leader's jersey on the last day.
That was intense.
That was pretty cool.
No, I did. Matt's gonna win.
I mean, I was surprised, but at the same time, like I wasn't. The only thing looking back, it kind of makes sense because he started using that Fraser with the 5, and like I look back on that, I'm like, okay, it makes sense. Like to starting, that's probably when he decided. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but I was surprised, and I was honestly kind of like almost like choked up, but I think part of it was like,
see, they cry a lot.
I do, yeah. But I was just like, I think part of it was like, I'm getting old, man. Like I remember when Fraser won his first one. Like it was when I first started CrossFit. Was when Matt Fraser won his first. Like it was right after he won his first title, and I was just like, what? How have I been through a whole like generation?
Era.
What is going on here? I was like, so I made it about myself, of course, because I'm a YouTuber and I'm self-indulgent, like but like I just remember. But then it made me think. Like I think that's why some people get so like emotional when like people retire and stuff, because like it makes them realize they're getting old, man. Like I'm not old, but like that's crazy. I cannot believe that I watched his whole career. Well, I actually didn't, but like I watched pretty much all of his championships,
his second places.
Yeah, but it's freaking crazy. I was genuinely surprised. I thought he would go for 6. I thought he was gonna go for 6.
I could have put money down when he ran Atalanta with Tia.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know.
I remember. I think I
That
called
was like
it.
a nice. I think you did, but I didn't think anything of
Yeah,
it.
I would have put my. I think I was like, he's done. Not like.
I wonder
physically,
if he
but
knew he was done there.
I think he did.
Maybe he like wanted to like.
He does not come across as someone who stumbles into something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm excited for. I know he's doing the podcast with Savon and Matt and Josh. So I'm sure maybe they've already talked about it. I don't know. I don't listen to many podcasts.
Yeah,
to be honest,
podcast
but,
has come out since then. I haven't listened to it yet.
But I would be curious about that whole kind of thing. I almost feel. I don't want to say I feel bad for him, but like it just sucks that his last games was like on his own, which I mean is kind of. Poetic, yeah, because of that's how he's been this whole time, has been on his own. Like he's always kind of been doing his own thing. And so it is kind of poetic, but still like, I mean, he deserved to have a huge, like, imagine if he was able to announce at the CrossFit Games with hundreds of thousands or, thousands of people there, tens of thousands of people there, like, I'm retiring, and just how that moment would have been, and the fact that he didn't get to have that, I'm just like, man, that kind of sucks.
Yeah.
If that truly was, he already knew he was leaving at that games,
Yeah.
Maybe he was just like thinking about it. He's like, I'm not gonna do it, girl. I'm just thinking about it.
I just feel like if he wanted to, like, why? I'm surprised that he didn't like announce it there.
Yeah.
That's why I'm, and again,
I feel like if I was him, I wouldn't do it there.
Why?
I feel like it would. I don't know.
Yeah,
This is
take
just
away
me.
from the moment.
I think it would take away from the moment, one, and two, from everyone else that podium too. It's their time to shine.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would just think about them.
I could have. Yeah, he could have. I mean, I could have definitely seen something where like maybe he just left a symbol of like he left his shoes on the podium, because that's a typical sign of retiring is when you leave your shoes on the.
You would do that because you're all emotional.
Yeah. I'm all
I'd be like,
symbolic.
who is this guy?
They'd be like, hey, you forgot your shoes.
Put your shoes back.
Like, dude, get your Vans off this podium.
This would happen to you. You would like be poetic and leave your shoes on the podium and walk away like thinking like it's so like in slow motion. Like, oh, John, you forgot your shoes, and run up to give it to you. And
Someone just throws them at you.
The janitor's just like trash and keeps cleaning. This guy.
One day, if we ever in the podcast, John's just gonna start it with the shoes on.
and we're like, get these things out.
What are you doing?
You're stinking up the room,
Yeah.
John. You know what he's doing now?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what he's doing?
No, this is the secret we have been waiting for. No, I don't.
He's becoming my personal coach.
No, he's not. Are you gonna sign up for that?
Nah, I don't know.
What? I need to know.
Yeah. So, Matt Fraser has officially partnered with Hybrid.
You
Training.
love hybrid.
Yeah. And he is going to have a training tracked through Hybrid. So it won't be like they have one that's called Hybrid WOD, and I don't think it'll be that. I'm pretty sure it won't be. It's called Hard Work Pays Off through Matt Fraser.
And
but
he's going to be doing it at the same
So
time.
he's gonna have his own
using-
training program.
He's gonna have his own training program through Hybrid though.
Oh, that's cool.
And
I
Hybrid has tried to be in the CrossFit space for a while.
Yeah, they have.
But they've also openly dissed it multiple times.
Yeah.
Like they're even in their email where they announced it, like 3 weeks up, they've been leading up to this big announcement kind of thing. And they were always like, the problem with CrossFit training, it's like you get a good sweat, you feel good, but nothing happened, and they're like, you need to have some reason why you're doing it, which I've been a big proponent of from the very beginning, or not from the very beginning, but since I started learning what I was doing, it was always
Since
like,
you unlearned and then you were really
yeah, exactly. It was
tie-in.
nice. Yeah. It was like, there's only so far like doing pull-ups and thrusters will get you. Like if you're not having like a training block, you're not having periodization, if you're not building strength in this time and doing this, like you're just going to kind of be at the same spot forever. The top CrossFitters, if you look at them train, they rarely do CrossFit. They're doing strength training. They're doing this. They're doing aerobic capacity. They're doing, you know what I mean? And then they bring it together for a Metcon.
Yeah.
But they're focusing on like, I'm going to do a 10-minute EMOM of 3 ring muscle ups.
What about the people who aren't athletes?
That's what I was gonna say. I think it's different for like. I understand that, but like not everyone is gonna wants to spend.
I
a
want
lot of
1
people
hour.
have 1 hour. Yeah. So it's like.
But you can still do that in an hour.
Yeah, but I mean, I think like saying that like the elite people aren't doing CrossFit. Like, yeah, I understand that, but it's like they're in the gym for 3 hours.
Yeah.
So they might be doing a lot of monostructural stuff, and they might throw in a couple WODs, but like,
I would say the exception is Rich Froning.
yeah,
His training is like that. Like that's one of the reasons. Like Rich Froning has been a dominant figure for the past 8-9 years, right? And his training's been relatively CrossFit like this whole time. So anyway, yeah, again.
But I think, if you have like a strength
It's hard to
day,
compare
a whole
their
day, you know.
It's hard to compare their training to
Yeah.
an average human.
yeah. So that's why I'm like,
I'm just your average gal.
I am
I'm your
excited.
average girl.
I am excited to see
No,
what
Nothing.
she's bringing back the girl.
Oh god. No, we're not doing that.
I wasn't even on that episode.
I am excited for like what's next for Matt. Like I kind of wonder if I'm sure there's going to be more than just he has a program. Like I'm sure there's going to be something.
yeah.
Yeah, this
You know what I
is just
mean?
the start.
Which is exciting. I'm kind of curious because like I know that from like our conversation that we had with him, and like he's talked about how he's been bummed out that all of the media that's been around him. I mean, it's changed a little bit with him and the Buttery Bros, and like, but like a lot of the media has been when he's at the games, and when he's at the games, he's not there to have like fun. He's there to win, right?
Yeah.
And so he's like very focused. So I'm excited to see more of that side. I think, which I would assume he's excited to share that.
Didn't
Yeah.
he start a YouTube channel?
Yeah, he started a YouTube channel, which I subscribed to, and I left a comment because I'm a loser. And I joked around and I said, "All right, Matt's gonna get into esports. He's gonna make a Call of Duty league. Hard work pays off." But I am really excited. Like if he starts making consistent YouTube videos, that'd be sweet. But I also I'm freaking excited about the next games. Like, dude,
Finally.
I'm like really, I don't even know. Like the person who comes to my mind that I'm like, I think they have it is Noah Olson.
Patrick Vellner.
I think, like, I mean, obviously there's tons of guys that are up there.
But that's like, there's tons, so that's what makes it fun.
Yeah, no,
it's like, we don't know.
Absolutely.
You know?
100%. No, it
Scott
does.
Panchik.
Yeah, it makes it really fun. Like I'm really excited to see what happens at the next games.
I just think Ben Smith needs to take it again. He needs to be the palate cleanser, right? So you had four Rich Froning, and then you got Ben Smith, and then you got 5 Matt Fraser, and then you get Ben Smith. We just need the palate cleanser.
And then we'll have someone else do like another 5 to Ben Smith again.
Ben Smith comes again. He's like 50.
He's like, here you weak for snappers, catching up to you.
Well, it's crazy. Ben Smith, he just recently like PR'd his clean and jerk or something.
Yeah, I know.
Like that. So he's definitely
crushing it.
strong.
Yeah.
I remember I cried when he his 10th.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm a crybaby. What can I say?
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Or when we were there, when Becca Voigt got her 10th.
Oh yeah, that was
And
cool.
that was emotional.
At regionals, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
It's so I'm definitely excited about that. I will be honest, like I think that this is a part of my ADD, which I guess doesn't exist anymore, which is just ADHD, but like I get very hyper focused on things. So like right now I haven't been paying as much attention to CrossFit, which I'm sure no one is surprised with. Like I've been focusing on but I've been like focusing a lot on triathlon, and like because it's just how I am. Like when I am excited about something, like the way that I stay excited is by immersing myself in the content. It's just how I am, right? But still, like I do like CrossFit. I think will always be my North Star, I guess.
I think that's where we're like we are similar in a lot of things. But I think that's one of the weird areas where we're different. Is like I like what keeps me sustained is small bursts throughout my day of different things. Like,
But you go through.
I go through phases
too.
But it's like, if I have a new book I'm excited about, it's like cool. That's my leisure book. It's not like I'm gonna read
about books again.
Books and barbells.
I know, like I'm not gonna read that all day every day. It's like no, that's my leisure book. I have my morning inspiration book. I have my leisure book. I have my nighttime wedding book, marriage book. You know what I mean? It's like
and I can't even read. Right.
so it's like by being able to like break things up throughout the day. That's what keeps me more like, because I feel like I can consistently do that longer. Whereas you're kind of like, all right, well, I got 12 hours to watch YouTube on this subject. I want to learn.
That's what I'll do.
Yeah.
It's just how I am, man. It's how I've always been.
Yeah.
Like when I first got into drums, like you remember, it's like literally all I did. And then the same thing when I first got into fitness.
Yeah.
It was just like regular fitness videos, and then CrossFit, and then marathon, and then triathlon. Like,
Yeah.
it's
I don't
how
know what I do. Do I go through phases?
No, you're kind of consistent.
Yeah, you're pretty
I'm a
consistent.
consistent gal.
Yeah, you're pretty
Yeah.
consistent.
Me and John are just more emotional than you are. I think part
No,
of it
I
too.
think so.
100%.
Yeah, I'm very emotionally driven.
Dude,
Yeah.
if I ever got pregnant, it would be horrible. It would be horrible.
I wouldn't want to hang out with you.
Yeah,
or
it'd be
you.
terrible.
Either
Yeah,
of
I
you
would
It
guys.
would be
good.
horrible.
I wouldn't be a good prego.
Yeah.
I'm not even a good hunger.
Yeah.
Hangry
Yeah,
boy.
yeah.
I know.
Yeah, I don't get how women do that. I'm glad I
Because
don't.
we're super natural.
That's true. Are you on steroids?
Yes.
I had a feeling.
Yeah, so there's our. I think that's everything we said we were going to talk about. We did a
Yeah.
pregnancy update.
We
Matt
didn't really talk about
Fraser.
triathlon, but there's nothing
triathlon.
new. I'm going to be starting swimming soon.
Yeah.
Very excited about that. I have my first session on next Monday,
Yeah.
which I'm excited but also very nervous about because I'm going to sink.
This boy got flippers and a snorkel one day, so he's gonna.
That's what my coach told me to get. She said a kickboard, a pull buoy, flippers. I have a snorkel. I have goggles. I have a swim cap. I got
just
jammers, which is what they're
imagine this guy walking up to the freaking pool wearing flip flop,
Yeah,
flippers,
and just have my
a
flippers
snorkel.
on as I get there.
Yeah, you're gonna be like walking like
I'm not gonna walk in with all of it. Jeez, dude.
snorkel on, goggles on.
I'm just like, wait, we can't scuba dive here. I don't understand. What are you talking about? I need to practice my scuba diving.
I gotta take my scuba diving. All right. All right.
All right, there we go. We talked about everything we said we would.
Yep.
All right,
Oh,
and
pregnancy update. 7
Oh, yeah.
weeks till baby.
7 weeks till baby.
Crazy.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and we will catch you next week. Peace out.